Hi, I wanted to share this story that happened on this past week while I was diving in Mexico. And there was someone in my group of divers who got spooked on a dive and panicked. And they got up safely. They went up with the dive master. They got up safely. And they came over to talk to me before the next dive because they were feeling really nervous about going back down. And hi, friends. And so they kept saying, I just can't panic again. I can't panic. And and I said, well, what if you do panic? Because panicking is kind of an involuntary reaction. And especially if it's happened in a situation before, it often will happen again. There's been a pathway built to that. And so this person kept saying, I just, when I go down there, I just can't panic. And through the conversation, I worked with them until they could hear me when I said, well, what if you do panic? What are you going to do then? Because it's a not winning situation if you go into something saying, I can't feel this. This being some feeling you don't want to have that could happen, that you could have, and that you can't control. And so that's not the place to put your focus. And so I kept working with them until they were able to say, oh, yeah, okay, what if I do panic? Then what? And I said, great. If you do panic, what are you going to do? What's step one? Let's make a plan. And we made a 7-step plan, in fact, for what this person would do if panic began to arise as they were diving. And it involved, number 1, count breaths, 4 in, 6 out. Number 2, slow down, stop swimming too hard. Get still, number 3. Number 4, look around at something beautiful outside yourself. Number 5, find one of the other members of the group and say, you're not doing great, please come over. Number 6, hold on to that person and look them in the eye. Eye contact was what this person decided they needed in order to get grounded and be able to resist the impulse, say, to bolt to the surface. Hi, Jerry. And so, so we came up with this 7-point plan, and we ran through it a bunch of times. So before the next dive, every 10 minutes or so, I would say, great, what's the plan? Give me 1, 2, 3, until they could just rattle it off like no big deal. We got on the Zodiac to go to the dive site. Everybody suited up. Right before we were about to roll in, this person said, I'm not ready. And everybody said, great, that's fine. Don't go in. If you're not ready, don't go in. They stayed on the boat. They talked to the panga driver. They had a whole conversation. They went back to the boat. Through all of that process and through giving themselves permission to not go in, not force it, they were completely ready the dive after that. So when I came up from my dive, they came to me and they said, I'm ready to go on the next one. Let's go. And they went in and they had their plan, and they didn't end up having to use it because they had gotten themselves ready to get in. So the point of this story that I'm sharing with you today is for you to think about places where maybe sometimes you put a limit on yourself of, I don't want to have this feeling that may happen in this situation. And I want you to think about that, because that may be a struggle that you won't win. But what you could win would be to acknowledge, oh, I may have this feeling in this situation. It's okay to have this feeling. And this is what I'm going to do if that happens. And make yourself a plan so that you can, if you find yourself triggered, or you find yourself panicked, or you find yourself in that situation, you have a choice that you can make besides the automatic choice. So I wanted to share that with you today because it worked really well with this person on the trip. And it really comes back to this thing I'm really hammering on in my coaching these days, which is the permission to allow yourself to be there in all of yourself at every moment of your life. And from that place, then make the choices about what actions you want to take or what responses you want to have, but not to shame the initial reaction, the panic, the anger, the fear, whatever it is, right? So I'd love to hear from you how this lands with you. If you have any questions, drop an emoji. If you just want to say, yeah, totally get this, good idea. I'd love to talk about it with you. And have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.